Yo. It's Robert, an ambassador for Christ. And as you know where I go, the kingdom goes. Remember, as usual, eat the fish, spit out the bones. For some things you may agree with, some things you may not. Now, this is going to be powerful and very, very helpful for you. Today, you better be listening and focusing on what I'm about to say. In January, okay, I started doing exercises, all right? Exercises. I started doing mobility exercises, 7 o'clock every morning. Even today, I was up at 7 or just before 7 doing mobility exercises. And what I've noticed over the past, 6 weeks, is that all the issues that I had inside my body, backache, when I get out of bed, ow, my back hurts. When I squat down, ow, my knee hurts. When you get a little bit older, you have these small little ailments, okay? When I was getting out of bed, it was struggling to get out, struggling to do basic movements, okay? But you know what? After 6 weeks to 2 months of consistently doing these mobility exercises, now my core is strong. I get out of the bed easy, my back doesn't hurt, I can do squats, my knees don't hurt, my arms don't hurt, my arms don't ache, my back doesn't ache. Throughout the whole day, my body is feeling wonderful. It's been awesome. The question is this, okay? Why is it that now I am experiencing the benefits of a stronger body? Brother Robert, why are you experiencing the benefits of a stronger body? And I'm going to tell you why. It is so simple. It's just called consistency. Consistency. Whatever you are consistent in doing, you're going to reap from whatever you are consistent in doing, okay? So let me show you something. If you are not consistent, you are going to be distant. If you are not consistent, you are going to be distant. Now, what are you talking about, Rob? Distant in what? Consistent? Distant? Yes. Whatever you are consistent in, you're going to be distancing from the opposite. If you are spiritually consistent, then you're going to be carnally distant. If you are spiritually consistent, you are going to be carnally distant. But now, if you are consistent in the carnality, then you are going to be spiritually distant. Do you understand? It is so powerful and it's so deep. Whatever you are consistent in, you are going to have more of it. Whatever you are consistent in, you are going to have more of that thing. Powerful. Whatever you are consistent in, you are going to have more of that thing. If you're consistent in the things of God, you're going to have more God. If you're consistent in the Bible, you're going to have more revelation. If you're consistent in spiritual things, you're going to have more things of the Spirit. If you are consistent in carnal things, you're going to have more worldly things. If you're consistent in carnal things, carnal actions, carnal mindsets, the more trouble is going to come into your life. Now, what I like is that over the past 5 years, I've been very consistent in spiritual things, consistent in Bible reading, consistent in praying, consistent in YouTube. I think I might have this as a backdrop. There's my backdrop. It says Jesus. Woo! There's my backdrop. I've been consistent in doing YouTube videos every day. Let me tell you something. Every day, Monday to Friday, I do Bible studies, I do prayer room, I do videos, I do YouTube Instagram stories and all them types of things, pouring out content. Why? Because I'm consistent in the Spirit. And because I'm consistent in the Spirit, I have consistent content. Because I'm consistent in the Spirit and in things of God, I have consistent content. Because I'm consistent in spiritual things, I have consistent revelation, consistent deliverance, consistent solutions, consistent strategies, consistent prophecy, consistently moving in the Spirit. Why? Because I am consistently doing the things of God. So that's how we are supposed to be. We are supposed to be consistent in our spiritual lives. Because what I've noticed is that when I've been consistently carnal, I've had trouble on every side. Trouble on the left, trouble on the right, trouble up, trouble down, trouble forward, trouble backwards. I had trouble everywhere when I have been consistently carnal and consistently worldly. Yes, during my Christian walk and my believer's walk, yes, I've been very carnal. So this is what we need to do. We need to do a reverse. We need to go in the opposite direction. That's where the word repent comes from. The word repent means to turn 180 degrees in the opposite direction. And that is what that's what we all need to be doing. We have to choose to be consistent with God and distant from the world, the worldly mindset. Consistent with God and distantly distance ourselves from the worldly mindset. We don't want to be doing the opposite, which is consistent in the world and distancing ourselves from God. That's what happens when we choose. Listen, we have a choice to either choose God, choose godly decisions, or not. But you need to understand, if you don't make good spiritual decisions and you make carnal decisions, the carnal decisions will draw you away from God. They will make you distant from God. Are you feeling distant from God now? The reason why you're probably feeling distant from God is because you are consistent in the wrong thing. You are consistent in the world, so you're distant from God. You need to be consistent in God, and you being consistent with the things of God, it will automatically make you distance from the things of the world. It's so powerful. Why are we not doing this? Why are we so stubborn? Why are we always banging our head up against the wall? Why are we always boo, boo, I don't want to hear God, do, I don't want to listen to God, I want to do it my way. Every time you do it your way is the long way, okay? Your way, listen to me. When you move in a carnal mindset, your way, carnal way, is you going around the desert, okay, in the wilderness for 40 years. But if you do it God's way, if you're consistent in God's way, okay, you do it God's way, humble yourself and do it God's way, you will get to the promised land in 11 days. From bondage to the promised land in 11 days. That's what Israel should have been experiencing. But Israel was full of unbelief and stubbornness, and it ended up going around the wilderness for 40 days. They was carnal, worshipping demons, no faith, murmuring against God, even though they'd done all the miracles. What happened? You were carnal, 40 days in the wilderness. And let me show you something. There's so many of you that's been in the wilderness for so many years. God is calling you out. How do you get out? How do you get out? It's easy to get out. You just need to be spiritually consistent. Consistent in spiritual things. Consistent in building up your spiritual life. Because what happens is that the more that you build up your spiritual life, is that you are going to enjoy a spiritually strong body. You're going to be spiritually stronger. You're going to enjoy spiritual strength. And let me tell you something. Spiritual strength is so awesome. Spiritual strength is so awesome. Over the past 5 years, my spiritual strength has gone from power to power, from glory to glory. It's been growing. And when I come up against certain issues, the enemy comes up against me, I consistently have a strategy. I consistently have spiritual strength to overcome the enemy. Why? Because I've been consistent in the things of God. But back in the day, when I wasn't consistent in the things of God, when the enemy came up against me, when the enemy came up like a flood, I couldn't even raise the standard. Why? I didn't have no strength to even raise up the standard. I had zero standard. I couldn't raise up the standard of God. I couldn't raise it. I was on my face, messed up. So it's not a way to live. We need to change that mentality, and we need to become spiritually consistent. Please, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna leave that one there. I guess you guys understand what I'm speaking about, being consistent. Be consistent in the thing that you want to see grow in your life. Be consistent in spiritual things, and you will see spiritual blessing. And that's what we need to be doing. I better go. I don't want to get run over. It's Robert, an ambassador for Christ. And as you know where I go, the kingdom goes. Remember, as usual, eat the fish, spit out the bones. For something you may agree with, something you may not. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed day.